Howdy do, y'all. I decided to go to Christmas music as it is the day after Thanksgiving. That's when I start doing Christmas. Anyway, so hey, I picked up this one, the gingerbread chocolate milk stout from Four Hands. Let me show you the glass here. It comes with one bottle of gingerbread, one bottle of s'mores milk stout, one bottle of regular chocolate milk stout in a glass. It was about 21 bucks. So you're looking at about $7 a bottle. $6 a bottle if you say the glasses were three. Anyways, oh wow. I'm not. I got to be honest. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of these flavored novelty beers, but there's a couple that have won me over. So, and I feel like I want to try them, especially when it's from a brewery that I really like. And Four Hands is one of my favorite breweries. What I get on the nose is a whole lot of the chocolate milk stout. I do smell spice from the gingerbread. I'm listening to my Pandora Christmas. It's the base channel's Father Christmas Radio, but right now playing is "The Seasons Upon Us" by the Dropkick Murphys. Seamus was a huge fan of the Dropkick Murphys, so anyways, before I get misty, it's a great tune if you haven't heard it. So look it up, the Dropkick Murphys, "Seasons Upon Us." One of my top favorite Christmas songs of all time. I won't say my favorite because there's a few. I mean, the King's Father Christmas is absolutely genius, especially when you think, listen to the lyrics, they're rather edgy for the time it was written. Um, I digress. Let's get back to the beer. Yeah, you certainly smell some gingerbread. You certainly smell spice. I smell that chocolate milk stout. You certainly get a lot of milk chocolate like notes. I actually didn't have this in the fridge, so I probably got it at about the right temperature this beer ought to be drunk at. Drank at. What would be the proper? Who knows? Yeah, I had it out in my garage, but it had been chilly. I thought, well, let me see if it needs to be chilled before I drank it, and it felt cool enough. It's probably at about. I'm guessing I probably have this at about 50. It's not too warm, not too cold. It's like the Goldilocks temperature. It's just right. They don't say exactly what temp they recommend it at, but most craft beers like to be drank at 50 to 60. Some say 45. I've even had some that say 40, but typically that's kind of the sweet spot anywhere in that 10-degree range, especially if you're talking about a stout. Although the mother's coffee grind, they have in a bottle 45 degrees, which seems awful cold for a coffee stout to me. But hey, it's their beer. Who am I to disagree? Oh, it's nice. It does. It feels like chocolate gingerbread. So if you like that, if that's what you want in a beer, yeah, it's fine. I got to admit, I'm a bit of a purist. I mean, um, I love craft beer, but I want beer. I'm not. But there is certainly a market for these novelty types of beers. I mean, there are a lot of folks that only drink a craft beer because of these novelties. So the fact that it's brought folks to craft beer that might not necessarily be there in the first place, I suppose in that way it's a good thing. For me, I'd like to see just beer. But again, there is a market for beers like this, and here I am drinking one, telling you I'm not necessarily a fan of the style. It is a fine beer, though, to be honest with you. It doesn't go over the top. All the notes are subtle. I feel that chocolate milk stout base, the spice notes, the gingerbread. Those to me are very subtle in here. It's like just a lightly spiced, or how would I say that right? Yes, I mean lightly spiced chocolate milk stout. Or again, for me anyway, the chocolate milk stout is still the star of this beer, but you can feel those gingerbread like notes. I mean, you may get notes of clove, allspice, who knows? Kind of feeling some allspice. That could just be me. The nose is a little sweet. It's just a nice beer, but everything Four Hands does is good in my opinion. I'm a fan of the brewery. They're a good, I don't want to say over the top, but innovative, I guess. They're great about saying what next. And there are other breweries I like because they just make solid beer and don't go too far outside the box. So it just depends on what style of craft beer you like. I think there are other breweries that I'm not going to mention in St. Louis that tend to get a lot of notice. Uh, but for my money, this is the one, man. Actually, I my two favorite St. Louis breweries are Four Hands and Urban Chestnut for opposite reasons. When I want something out of the box, it's the brewery I want. When I want just a solid, well crafted beer, it's Urban Chestnut. And there are others in St. Louis that are doing out of the box stuff, but I think they're doing it best at Four Hands in my particular opinion. Excuse me, sorry about that. Hope I didn't get any on you. So kind of do things backwards. I did kind of a couple days ago. I roasted some turkey legs and made some stock. But we had a lot going on yesterday. My wife's been helping our daughter get things organized in their new house, so we didn't do a Thanksgiving dinner yesterday. Uh, but I had the turkey legs that I roasted for stock, so I took the meat off of those bones and made that stock into a nice little gravy. Added some potatoes, peas, and corn, and it turned out to actually what I did with this is made hot beef or hot beef, hot turkey sandwiches out of it, and then we had some sweet potatoes, mashed sweet potatoes, and some baked beans on the side. Today we had a whole bird that I had to use, so I went and roasted it. Went and speak up. Been out and I've been in Southwest Missouri too long, man. I lost where I was going. Lost where I was going, man. Yeah, but I'm Southwest Missouri too. Gosh, what was I talking about now? Oh yeah, my turkey. So, anyways, it was just the wife and I eating. So I made some. I made it. Well, I roasted the turkey. It's kind of an old school for the last ever since about '98, I suppose. I had this bourbon brine thing that I'd been doing, and we've always loved it. But this has been a year of changes for us. And I just wanted to do something different. I think my wife and I have both kind of been hearing Seamus talking to us, telling us it's time to move away from something. So, uh, we both lost our jobs at the beginning of the year. In June, we had a car accident and we totaled our car. Uh, and everybody that looked at that car, the police officers, the paramedics, they couldn't believe that we all walked away from it. It was that bad. So we feel like Seamus was watching over us. So I changed jobs this year. And I just wonder what Thanksgiving is particularly a hard holiday for me because Seamus and I always was about him and I together putting it together. So I just decided I was just going to do an old fashioned roasted turkey. So I didn't do anything fancy with it. No brine, no marinade, no nothing. I just put together, my own little seasoning and I kept it simple. It was mostly just kosher salt, pepper, to be honest with you. I just felt like keeping it simple. So today we had that turkey, which came out beautiful. I did roast it. I did that method where you flip it over for the first hour and then turn it over instead of you typically get the breast, turn it over, let the thighs and legs cook and the back cook, and then flipped it over. Got the breast, came out beautiful. Anyways, we had some leftover baked beans, so I fixed them. We had mashed sweet potatoes again. Again, I didn't candy anything. I didn't add any sugar at all to the sweet potatoes. Add just a pinch of salt, which brings out the natural sugars in the sweet potato. Added a generous amount of butter and a little bit of milk, kind of cream them up a little bit. Uh, and what else? Oh, I went old school on another thing too. I remember as a kid, my mom used to make this rice with the canned soup. You know what I'm talking about? For anybody who knew what, well, for anybody of my background knew what risotto was. It was kind of a poor man's risotto, I guess. I'm guessing that's where the idea came from. But anyway, so I used a can of cream of chicken soup with with that rice. It was actually dark tasty. It was, it kind of brought back some memories. I didn't feel I made some stock, but I didn't feel like putting gravy together. I'll do that tomorrow with the leftovers. I wanted to do something different. So, anyways, that was our Thanksgiving dinner for the wife and I. And I made a. My wife was going back over to help her daughter and son-in-law uh, put some things away. My wife was going to make some stuff, some side dishes and salads that we typically have. We're going to go visit some friends tomorrow. So I made them. I put some food together to take over there. So they get some of Grampy's food. So there you go. So Four Hands gingerbread. I had a couple years ago, a friend sent me a gingerbread brew from Hardywood. I remember that one having more intense gingerbread. That is my recollection of it, anyway. This one is very subtle. It is a chocolate milk stout with gingerbread. I wouldn't call it a gingerbread milk stout. This is gingerbread chocolate milk stout. To me, the gingerbread is very subtle. The chocolate milk stout is clearly the star, but you can feel the gingerbread like notes. You can feel those spice like notes. The predominant spice I'm feeling is, I'm going to say, allspice, but hell, you might get clove, you might get cinnamon, you might get who knows what. I mean, it's up to you, man. Don't let anybody tell you what you taste is wrong. What you taste is what you taste, regardless of what somebody else might say. I like this. A lot of chocolate milk stouts for me tend to be too sweet. One of my favorite chocolate stouts is just chocolate stout from Saddleblock. The one reason I love that beer is because it's big, dark chocolate. It's rich, it's decadent. It doesn't play. There's no sweetness at all. Big roasted malts, hints of coffee, but a whole lot of big, dark chocolate. A lot of chocolate milk stouts tend to be a little sweet for me. This one is not, though. It's one reason I like the Four Hinch regular chocolate milk stout and the various derivatives that I've had over the years is because it's not an overly sweet base. But that chocolate milk stout, it is creamy. It's only 5.5%, so it's not a big beer by any means. It is very drinkable. It'd be a good holiday beer. It'd be good to follow up your Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. What? Because it's not a whole lot of alcohol. Wait till a few hours later and have that big decadent fireplace beer. But this one you could have right with your dessert. I mean, enjoy this with your pecan pie. It'd be awesome. You'll have it with your pumpkin pie. Have it with your blueberry pie. Have it with your apple pie. Who am I to judge? I am trying to beer whisper, man. I am the Beer Whisper Chief. I approve this message, and I want to thank everybody that stuck with me. I want to thank my folks that watch me that aren't jackasses. Picked up a few trolls throughout the years, but this year in particular, for some reason, they seem to have gathered at me. I don't know why. Some people are just miserable. But I hope you're not miserable. I hope you're having a good holiday. I hope you're looking forward to Christmas. I do not own the rights to any of the songs. If you were able to hear any of them, I hope I don't get the YouTube flag. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer. I am the Beer Whisperer Chief. I do approve this message. And this beer is a buy again for me. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer. Goodbye. How many times do I have to say it? How many times are you going to repeat yourself, Tom? Sometimes I get caught in a loop, man. Have a good holiday, folks. I hope your Thanksgiving was awesome. Say the glass one more time. Mostly bought it because I love glassware.